Do you ever find yourself flying off the handle for no reason? Here's something I've heard from people, from my patients. They'll react 3 separate ways to the same situation, depending on where they are in their cycle. One day a situation rolls off their back like it's no problem. The next day, or the next time this similar situation happens in a different part of their cycle, they get really hurt and upset and cry. And then at a different part of their cycle, all of a sudden they turn into the Incredible Hulk and are mad and lash out at everybody and are incredibly angry. What the heck? How can that happen? It's not uncommon, but it's not normal. Here's the thing. Perimenopause is finally getting attention. It's finally being talked about. And that's a good thing, because it used to be that nobody talked about it. You need to understand that there is no test for perimenopause. It's a diagnosis of hindsight. The traditional medicine definition that has been there since my training was it's a 3 to 4 year period before menopause and immediately after menopause. That's what peri means, immediately surrounding menopause, which is when your ovaries quit making hormones, you can't have kids anymore, and your estrogen, progesterone, and sometimes testosterone drop. But in perimenopause, it can be wonky. It can feel like a roller coaster ride, and nobody talks about it. You may go see your regular doctor or even your gynecologist. Your primary care doctor probably doesn't know about it at all. Your gynecologist says, well, your periods are still normal. So, it's just the way it is. You're in your mid-30s now. You're in your mid-40s now. Come back later and we'll see if you're menopausal, and then we can talk about menopausal hormone replacement therapy. Well, what do you do in the meantime? If you're a mother and you lose your patience with your kids for no reason, if you're a business person, a manager, and you have to schedule your meetings in the morning because by afternoon your brain feels like mush. If you're a working mom or wife and you feel like you barely get through the day and you can get everything done that needs to be done, but you get home and you lose it. You crash. You have no energy and no patience left for anyone else. I used to feel that way. I felt like I was drowning. And as long as everything was okay, I could get through my day. If everybody did what they were supposed to do at the right time, and everybody, did their job, then I could get through my job just fine. Do you know what? That's not the way life is. There's always a speed bump. And depending on where I was in my cycle or how much sleep I had the night before, these speed bumps could derail me. And then I felt so guilty afterwards. Why did I act that way? Why can't I be patient? What's happening to me? Am I turning into a bitch? Oh boy. And then the problem is, in my medical training and most medical trainings, there's nothing that is offered except counseling, maybe necessary, but it doesn't fix your hormones. Birth control pills, because then you have a steady state of fake hormones that take control over everything and your ovaries don't make any. But those have significant risks, especially in women in their mid-30s and beyond. Antidepressants, sleeping pills, anti-anxiety medicine, you name it. Doctors want to help you, but they don't have the right tools. So finally, we're discussing it, and women are hearing, okay, it's perimenopause. Maybe I'm not going crazy. That's good news. And then it's chemistry, right? It's not a character flaw. No, you're not a bad person. Your hormones affect your outlook, the way you feel. The way you feel affects whether you sleep. It affects how you perceive situations. The sleeplessness that goes along with these hormonal shifts make it really hard to be your best and be healthy, because if you're not sleeping at night, you're not healing, and you crave the wrong foods, it turns into a massive mess. So I'm so glad that it's being talked about, but here's the thing that breaks my heart. Even the experts, and they are experts, they've been around for decades, they've written books, they have YouTube channels, they have massive followings. Even these people are now saying that perimenopause starts in your 30s. It doesn't. The symptoms feel like it, because your hormones are crazy and you're not sleeping and you can't remember shit and you feel like you're losing your personality, but it's not perimenopause. This is where the hormone locksmith comes in, ladies. It's not the hormones, it's rusty locks. The hormones are the keys, the cell receptor and the cell membrane, and the cells are the locks. You can have the right keys, but if you have rusty locks, the system is broken. So what causes these rusty locks? Stress, poor nutrition, toxins, infections. That's where we need to look. I'm here to tell you that perimenopause does not start in your 30s. If you're having symptoms that sound exactly like perimenopause, and thank God now we're talking about perimenopause, so people put a name on it and you feel like, okay, that's what it is. I'm not losing my mind. So that's the good news. But the bad news is if they just say it's perimenopause with nothing else, you have nowhere to go. You think, holy crap, I have to deal with this for the next 10 to 15 years before my hormones drop? That's crazy. And just adding progesterone to estrogen dominance doesn't fix it if you have too much estrogen. I tried that and it backfired. I had a woman who had all the symptoms of estrogen dominance, mood swings, bitchiness, hyper emotional. And I said, you have estrogen dominance. I'm going to help you. Here's some extra progesterone. And within a month, she felt significantly worse. Now she was bloated, constipated, puffy, and still those same symptoms. So I finally checked her levels mid-cycle and I realized that she had enough progesterone, but she had sky-high estrogen. Sky-high estrogen doesn't happen from your ovaries unless you're on fertility drugs. If you have sky-high estrogen, either something is messing up your body's ability to get rid of estrogen, which is gut inflammation, and dysbiosis, meaning a rowdy crowd in your gut microbiome, or maybe you're exposed to chemical toxins or mycotoxins from mold that are mimicking estrogen. So yes, I'm thankful that we're finally talking about perimenopause, but we also need to be honest about perimenopause and say it really is supposed to only be the period of time right before your periods end, right before menopause. And if you're having symptoms starting in your 30s, it may feel like perimenopause and it's a mimicker, but it's not. It's not, because menopause is right around the corner. You could be 10 to 15 years away from menopause. You shouldn't have to suffer that long. You need to work with someone who understands the lock, someone who can WD-40 your rusty locks, someone who can help your hormones work right, someone who looks at the whole picture, nutrition, micronutrients, stress reduction, toxic exposures in our environment, and stealth infections. You need it all. You can't fix it with just one thing. If you're interested in taking my hormone quiz, the link is here. Please look below, take the hormone quiz, because if you have massive hormone imbalances, you have rusty locks and you need to work with someone who understands that. And I'd also really love to hear from you. Will you do me a favor? Will you respond to the QR code that's listed below with some questions you have? I really want to answer your questions. So if you let me know what questions you have, I promise I'll do videos on them and answer them for you, because I really want to help you. My mission is making the world a better place, one healthy person at a time, and that starts with you.